Imagine reaching into your pocket right now, pulling out a small, ordinary-looking coin, and discovering that the little piece of metal in your hand could be worth more than your entire retirement. It sounds unbelievable, almost impossible. But collectors across America have been stunned by the surprising value of a coin most people completely ignore. A simple 5-cent coin that, in rare cases, has sold for worth $1,000 or more. And here's the part that makes this story truly incredible. That very coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. Most people don't even glance at their nickels. They slide across counters at gas stations, disappear into vending machines, rattle around in cup holders, or end up forgotten in jars on kitchen shelves. But every once in a while, someone takes a closer look. And that's when the ordinary suddenly becomes extraordinary. The coin at the center of this story is the 2010 Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it's nothing special. Just another modern American coin. Something you might use to buy a snack or drop into a parking meter. But hidden within some of these coins are details so rare and so fascinating that collectors across the country have spent years searching for them. And the stories of how these coins are discovered almost always start the same way: pure accident. One of the most talked about discoveries began with a college student in Missouri who had a habit of collecting loose change in a glass jar. Every few months, he would roll the coins and take them to the bank. One evening, while sorting through a pile of nickels under a bright desk lamp, one coin caught his eye. It looked different. The surface had an unusual shine, almost like the coin had just left the mint, even though it had clearly been in circulation. He flipped it over. The year read 2010, and beneath the date was a tiny letter, D. The coin had been minted in Denver. Now that alone doesn't make a coin valuable. Millions of 2010 nickels were struck in Denver and Philadelphia that year. But something about this particular coin kept pulling his attention back to it. The lettering looked slightly thicker than normal. The edges of the letters in Liberty seemed almost doubled. At first he thought it might just be wear or damage. But curiosity pushed him to look closer, so he grabbed a magnifying glass, and that's when he noticed something fascinating. The letters weren't damaged at all. They appeared to have been struck twice, creating a subtle shadow effect along the edges. What he might have been holding was a double-die variety. Now, to understand why that matters, you have to picture how coins are made. Inside the United States Mint, giant presses stamp designs onto blank metal discs called planchets. These presses operate with incredible force and speed, striking thousands of coins every hour. The designs are engraved into hardened steel dies that transfer the image onto the coin. Most of the time, everything works perfectly, but sometimes something goes wrong. When a die is created, the design is pressed into it with extreme precision. If the design shifts slightly during that process, the die can end up with a doubled image. Every coin struck with that die will then show that doubling. Collectors love these errors because they reveal the hidden mechanics of coin production. They are tiny mistakes frozen in metal, and those mistakes can turn a 5-cent coin into a valuable collectible. But doubling isn't the only thing collectors look for on a 2010 Jefferson nickel. To really understand the coin, imagine holding it in your hand. The metal feels cool and smooth. A blend of copper and nickel gives the coin its soft silver color. When a fresh nickel catches the light, it reflects with a subtle satin glow on the front. The modern portrait of Thomas Jefferson faces forward. Unlike older nickels that showed Jefferson in profile, this design, introduced in the mid-2000s, presents him looking straight ahead, with remarkable detail in the hair and facial features. To the right of the portrait sits the word Liberty, followed by the year 2010. Just beside the year is the tiny mint mark. If the coin was made in Denver, you'll see a small D. If it was struck in Philadelphia, you'll see a P. That little letter tells collectors exactly where the coin was born. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. The building stands proudly at the center of the design, with its columns and dome carefully engraved in fine detail. Above the building appear the words E Pluribus Unum. Below it reads Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Under bright light, a well-preserved coin reveals incredible detail in the building's steps and columns. But when something goes wrong during minting, That's when collectors get excited. Some 2010 nickels have been discovered with off-center strikes. In these cases, the planchet was slightly misaligned when the press struck the coin. The result is a dramatic design where part of the image is missing, leaving a blank crescent of metal along the edge. Others show die cracks, thin raised lines that stretch across Jefferson's face or through the columns of Monticello. These cracks form when the steel dies begin to fracture from repeated use. Each one tells a story about the moment that die struck the coin. Then there are the rare double dies. When collectors spot one, they look carefully at the letters in Liberty, the date, and the inscriptions on the reverse side. Under magnification, the letters appear to have tiny shadows or extra edges. Those coins can be extremely desirable. Back in Missouri, the student decided to bring his coin to a local coin shop. The dealer examined it under a powerful microscope. Slowly rotating the coin beneath the light, after several long seconds, he leaned back and smiled. Because the coin showed clear signs of doubling on the lettering, the dealer offered the student a few $100s right there in the shop, but curiosity got the better of him. Instead of selling it immediately, he sent the coin to a professional grading service. Weeks later, the coin returned in a sealed protective holder with an official grade and confirmation of the double die. When it finally appeared at auction, collectors took notice. The final price shocked everyone involved. The coin sold for just over $1,000 for a nickel. Moments like that ripple through the coin collecting community, because every time one of these coins appears, it reminds collectors that treasure can hide in the most ordinary places. These coins were never meant to be rare. They were meant to circulate. They passed through grocery stores, movie theaters, vending machines, and millions of pockets across the country. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is paying for a cup of coffee with a handful of change. Among those coins might be a 2010 Jefferson nickel. Maybe it has a subtle double die. Maybe it carries a dramatic off-center strike. Maybe it survived more than a decade in nearly perfect condition, its surface is still glowing with mint luster. To most people, it's just 5 cents. But to the right collector, it could be worth hundreds, maybe even more than $1,000. And that's the magic of coin collecting. History, artistry, and human error all captured in a piece of metal smaller than a quarter. So the next time you see a nickel sitting in your change tray or rattling around in your pocket, don't ignore it. Pick it up, turn it slowly under the light. Look at the date, 2010. Then check the tiny mint mark beside it. Study the letters. Look for doubling, strange cracks, or unusual alignment, because hidden within that small coin could be a rare variety collectors are still searching for today. And the next person to make an incredible discovery might not be a professional collector or a museum curator. It might simply be someone like you, who decided to take a closer look at the coins already in their pocket.